hey guys, hail Zeon, and you have a sign.
This.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you do this. This is how you make a Godzilla movie. This is how you make a disaster movie. This is how you make a monster movie. This is how you reboot a franchise. This is how you treat an established IP with new ideas. This is how you do this.
Yes, all of that. Oh my god. So yeah, last night we saw Shin Godzilla, and oh my god, I was not prepared for how good this was.
Yeah, it was the best case scenario.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it says on the tin. Anno made a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
So you take your best memories of Anno and your best memories of Godzilla, depending on which era Godzilla you're really into, and it's...
Yeah, this is... Oh my god, like, yeah, this is definitely, like, my favorite Godzilla movie that I've seen. Like, I haven't seen all of them. I'm mostly, like, a Showa-era kid, and I've watched some of the Millennium ones. Completely missed the fucking Heisei era. Don't know how the hell I did that. But, you know, this, though, was just... Oh my god. Because, it's Anno. You never know what Anno you're getting. And
what we got was 90s Eva Anno.
Yeah. Oh my god. This fucking movie is just so many levels of just... It's... Like, it pays such respect to Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it treats him with, like, the weight and just that kind of majesty that this fucking character... Like, he's a legacy fucking monster. He's a legacy kaiju, and they fucking treat him with that level of respect that fucking IP deserves. But then you have Anno, and he's coming in there with all of that Eva influence. The directorial style in this movie is so distinctly Anno.
Even before the music happens,
Yeah.
it's just like, Anno. All of these shots, all of this text, it's Anno.
Yeah, like text popping up on the screen. There's just like the camera work, the framing of each, like all the shots, especially like the boardroom shots.
Yeah, all the borders. I remember thinking, moments before the music kicked in, this is exactly how Nerve would respond to... Oh,
and
there
then,
it is.
Yeah, which, by the way, like, the soundtrack to this is... It's, like, half classic Godzilla music, like, from, like the original film, and remixes of Eva music, and it's fucking awesome. Like, every time, like, the dung, 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 like,
it's the Eva Plan music,
Yeah.
and the whole time I was thinking of Operation Yashima, and I'm like, that would probably work on Godzilla, too.
Yeah. And there's just so many little things that, like when they're, like, bombing Godzilla... And it's just like, you have like the tanks lined up on the shore, just like, what was it, Sahakiel or Satiel?
Remiel.
That was Remiel? Like the first one, the third angel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the diamond one?
No, I'm talking about like the very first one from the first episode.
Oh.
Like, that's the third.
Oh yeah, they did that to him too.
Yeah, because they had the tanks lined up.
Yeah, that was Sachiel.
Yeah, like so, like during that Satiel thing, like tanks lined up, and then when they dropped like the N2 mines, it's the tink. And that's exactly what happens here. Just like, the firing from the shore, and then they drop the bombs on him. It's just like they bounce off of his spine.
Like this was
jack shit.
It's a weird thing. This movie is a procedural monster movie.
Yes.
Because the first half of the movie is the Japanese government responding to a giant-ass mutant lizard showing up on their shore.
Yeah.
And it's done beautifully.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, just... Fucking, this is everything I could have wanted a Godzilla to be, because, like, I fucking hated the 2014 one. And some son of a bitch didn't pay his dues and said, fucking Bob saw it, Dan saw it, James saw it, we all fucking saw it, and your ass skipped over 2014 and was just like, yes, Anno Godzilla. Godzilla's back.
Hail Zeon's never watched Firefly.
You son of a bitch! Oh, that's what we're doing now. Alright, fine, fucker. Ugh.
So, I mean, this is a movie with Godzilla in it. And it is a very Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
But it's also a whole lot more than that.
Yes, there is, like, okay, one of the things I really like about this movie is no scene feels like it's wasting my time. Because I've heard people complain about the pace of this film. I'm like, the pace is
Those
fucking
people
amazing.
are wrong.
Yeah, because every fucking scene serves some purpose, whether it's to move the story forward, or to show the shock and horror of, like, what Godzilla is and what he is doing to these people, or just to reinforce the themes that the film is, like is the foundation of the film. Every scene does something to complement that, to reinforce those things.
And like, even broad strokes, in the same way that the original Godzilla was an intensely Japanese film about their relationship with the atomic age, and by relationship I mean being on the brunt of the atomic age, and how enormously dehumanizing that level of destructive power was.
Yes. Okay, so before we continue, like that like, it's an incredibly Japanese film. This is what I'm starting to think, because I keep watching reviews, and people are like, yeah, it's okay, it's good, it's a good Godzilla movie. It just, it could have, I'm like, you're not getting just, like, all of, like, the symbolism and the metaphors, and, like, just how steeped in Japanese culture and politics this film is, and all the social commentary it's making on it. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. It's just like, because, yes, this film is very Japanese.
Yeah. So, the first Godzilla, more reminiscent of the dehumanizing aspect, the powerlessness in the face of atomic destruction that Godzilla represented, and how that changed how they viewed the world and how they viewed terror and death. This Godzilla, very similarly, it's like a lot of this movie is about Japan's response to disaster, which they keep having.
Yeah.
So when the first half of the movie is all cabinet meetings and briefings and back and forth and showing the structure of the bureaucracy working smoothly, working very well, just very slowly, because that's how the government works. So you've got Japan's dissatisfaction about how their government handled post-tsunami tragedy. We've got the ever-present old generation stoicism versus younger generation dynamism. We've got the age-old story of Japanese hegemony, not homogeny, orthopraxy versus heterodoxy. We have got
This Fukushima.
Yeah, the whole Fukushima thing.
Yeah.
We've got their growing dissatisfaction with basically being our sidekick.
Yeah, like they kind of have been not literally under our boot, but like
pretty much. Like, we wrote their fucking constitution.
Yeah,
basically.
Their culture.
They were having to go over the letter of their law whether or not they could mobilize the JSDF because of their fucking constitution and the treaty with us.
Yeah,
it again ties into their ability to respond. It was Japan trying to come out of a generation where they weren't allowed to be their own country.
Yeah. And there's a lot of commentary to that too. Just that because like America comes up a lot in this, and like how pretty much America's getting like the final say so on how they react to this fucked up shit that's happening to them. And it's like, don't worry, America's here to save you guys. And it's like, can we please just
it's the great
do
thing.
this?
For most of the movie, we're not really demonized.
Yeah, we're not demonized.
Because there's like Russia and China are gonna fuck us. Because like we're still friends with Japan because we love Japan.
Yeah.
Japan just wants to be Japan instead of America Light for a while.
Yeah.
Except for that one line where after they merge the main character's department with like they send in a bunch of American scientists. The American scientists decide we need to nuke Godzilla.
Yeah.
So they leave the room like only our nuclear wisdom will save the Japanese.
Yeah, and of course, that creates some conflict within them. And though there is a nice counterbalance to that scene, which is that one line that I think really keeps from demonizing America is that one. Was it the Prime Minister? I think that had that line where he says,
"No, it was the main character's senpai." I don't know what his name is.
Okay, yeah. So that one guy has that line of, if this had been taking place in New York, they'd be doing the exact same thing. Like, it's that thing of, like, this isn't because this is Japan, and it's not, like, America's problem, so they can just fucking do this. No, this is an international incident.
See, that's the thing about that line. I think it's ambiguous in that way that only the Japanese can be. Because they said, referring to America, they would do the same thing if it happened in New York. And I don't know whether he took that sincerely. But I know we said it sincerely, because nuking shit is how we solve problems.
Yes. Yeah, and God, there's so many layers just to this film that are just so damn good. Oh my God, like I said, this is definitely how you do a Godzilla film. Comes extremely highly recommended. And now we're gonna start talking about spoilery shit that's just really fucking cool. That because there's a lot of things to this movie that are exclusive. Like, as far as, like, the greater Godzilla mythos, there are... Because this isn't like, like they remade the original Godzilla
this
in modern
is some new
time.
shit.
Yeah, there's some shit that is very exclusive to this film, so if you don't want to know about that, you just want to know... Like, it has great themes, it has great characters, it's constantly intense, there's a little bit of levity, like a smidge, like to keep things, from being too somber, but
I've never seen a smarter kaiju film.
Yeah, there you go. Because, like, like the original Godzilla, it's a really smart film. But, like, I feel like this one is more densely packed with ideas, and it keeps the momentum going. Even after, like, the big second act Godzilla attack, like, afterwards, I've heard people, they're like, oh yeah, the momentum completely drops off. it didn't drop off for me because now it's just like, okay.
Because
okay,
you were enjoying
guys,
the correct parts of that movie.
Yeah, because like at that point it's like, okay, we have this much time to deal with this problem. We need to figure this out, and like it's these people planning their last final assault on Godzilla before America comes in and fucking nukes it. And so anyhow, getting into spoilers now. First off, the multiple forms thing.
Yes. So I love how they handle when Godzilla first shows up, and they're showing the ripples, and they're showing the back, and they're slowly building.
Spine.
And like halfway through that whole thing, I'm like, wasn't he bigger in the trailer? I thought, okay, maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. And then he shows up
on the land.
This goofy ass face, like Bob had the same thought I did. Is this what Godzilla's fighting in this movie?
Right? Because it kind of does look like Anguirus or whatever, like an aquatic Anguirus from the old. And I'm just like,
and it is constantly evolving multiple form thing. I think it really speaks well to the difference between original Godzilla being nuclear holocaust and this Godzilla really representing the rapid succession of horrible disasters they've been having in Japan. Because it does. It keeps changing. It keeps growing.
Yeah.
A lot of the because the first Godzilla just shows the fuck up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And wrecks shit.
Yeah, and that's the bomb metaphor.
Yeah. This Godzilla, he shows up and like it's a little damage and then he goes away and he comes back. And there's radiation involved and just it keeps changing. It's a new situation. And that's the thing. The situation keeps changing. The government keeps having to respond to it.
Yeah.
But in the entrenched Japanese bureaucracy isn't moving fast enough to handle it.
Like they even start talking about it's like, this thing could just keep evolving. Like if this thing sprouts wings, like, it'll just go to other countries. There's no stopping this fucking thing if it becomes airborne. And like these have become legitimate fears because it's it keeps presenting them with a brand new, like, oh my god, the dynamic is completely fucking different now.
And they have to go through every process to respond to the new situation. And I love how every time the JSDF gets to do something, they have to go through, like, they always show us at least 3, but it's like 10 guys down the line asking a question all the way up to the PM and then going back down because of how hamstrung they are by their security treaty.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, so, there's like the multiple forms thing. Yeah, that's, like, completely fucking weird. Like, when Godzilla first shows up, he's like this big lumbering, like aqua turkey.
He's fucking bleeding out of his gills.
Yeah, he's like blood gushing out of his gills. He has like this fucking big googly-eyed face. And like, he looks hilarious when you first see him, like, what the fuck? And then he starts wrecking things and he starts becoming the thing of nightmares. And it's just like, oh, right, the thing might look fucking retarded. It's still a giant fucking monster. People are terrified, or people are dying. It's fucking like running over, knocking over buildings and shit, because it's just a big fucking animal. And then it fucking evolves, and it gets upright, and it starts growing limbs, and it's just like, whoa. And then it fucking overheats, goes back into the water, and then it evolves off screen, and they're like, oh crap, did it get bigger? And he's coming onto the shore. Just final form Godzilla, and it's just, oh no.
Like the first time it stands up, and it's got those nubs where arms are about to be. I was taken aback. I'm like, oh, he wasn't kidding. Anno went full tilt with this radiation burn victim thing.
Yeah, just, oh my god, yeah, and
because the first Godzilla, being a metaphor for just indiscriminate destructive power, was empowered by the radiation.
Yeah.
This Godzilla is this horrible twisted thing.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it is powered by the radiation, but it's also kind of like it's kind of like its Achilles heel too, because like it overheats and stuff has to go into the water. I did like the fact that like it does like evolve to the situation, so like now it's a land animal, and now it isn't overheating.
It evolves to the situation, and then like one of the main themes of the movie with Goromaki's work is that we have to evolve around it.
Yeah,
it's a metaphor both for the destructive power of nature and technology, and our need to be able to change and respond to it.
Yeah, so all that happens, and speaking of how Godzilla is changing and, fucking things up. Okay, so we get to the point where like the military's holding it down, and the stealth bombers come in and sort of start bombing the shit out of Godzilla. This is the first thing that's actually done damage to this thing. And actually, like, blood explodes from his back, and he screams, and he like opens his mouth, and his bottom jaw just like the fucking vampires from Blade 2. Just
he's got like radial esophagi in there.
Like there's like this weird radius shit going on like in his mouth, and he starts glowing purple inside of his mouth. You're like, oh shit, oh shit, but then all of a sudden...
Yeah, he dumps this black and purple voluminous toxin cloud that hits the ground and spreads.
Yeah, it just goes across the city, and he ignites and just fucking napalms Tokyo. And it's just like, holy shit.
Fucking that catches on fire, and then it starts coming out in a stream of fire, this huge gout, and then focuses it down into plasma.
And just... and he's just just firing this laser, literally a fucking laser, just into the sky, tearing down buildings, slicing through buildings. Like fucking, like the atomic breath has never been this fucking nuts. And then to just make it even crazier, he like leans forward, his spines start glowing, and then the fucking beams start shooting out of his fucking spines, out of his back. It's just like, and he's just taking out fucking stealth bombers like crazy. And he just keeps getting... This motherfucker shoots lasers from everything. Like, this is like the most terrifying version of Godzilla. Like, he's just like the most destructive by far. Just like, but God, that's like one of the most... We were talking about the cinematography before. That's just one of the most beautifully shot scenes. Just because you have like the music gets really somber, and just he opens his mouth, and it's just like the lighting.
Every time you make a sequel, it's always like it needs to be bigger and bigger. And like Godzilla wrecks cities. Where do you go from there? You do the cinematography correctly, and you give the scene weight.
Yeah, and just...
Christ, God, that was horrible.
Like, just seeing Godzilla standing in the middle of Tokyo as it's just engulfed in flames. It's just... It's unsettling. It's horrifying. Like this... Like, I feel like this is the Godzilla film that really captures what Japanese audiences were feeling back in... What was the original made? 60...
Shit, was it 67?
Something like that,
No, it had to be before that.
It's early 60s or mid 60s. Anyhow, like the original Godzilla, like, that horror that they felt back then, like it just this film conveys that so well. Like Anno just put his best foot forward, and I can't wait for this to get a dub.
Anno was good at two things: making a very believably clean-cut, mundane world, shooting that accurately with a sense of scale, and making giant, horrible shit and just putting it in the middle of it. Sort of like how in Alien 9, everything weird is shot normally, and that dissonance is unsettling. Anno does the same thing, where he just makes something horrible and puts it in his very mundane world.
Yeah, like, just, God, this film so captures just the scope of Godzilla, just when you see his tail coming over, just that... And, God, just fucking...
It's, like, Godzilla itself jackknifes between really amazing practical costume work and PS2 cutscene CG.
See, I never noticed it looking PS2 cutscene CG-ish. Like, I don't know, like, it sold it for me. There was a couple of scenes where, like, it got really close up, and I was like, is that CGI? I can't... But yeah, like, I feel like the costume really goes a long way to, like, because it's clearly a blend of the two. Like, they did a lot of blending between the two. And I think it worked really well. It just... Like, at no point did I ever feel disconnected or just like... Because, like, with the 2014 Godzilla, every time I saw it, I was clearly aware, like, oh, that's a big CGI thing, and they're shooting it all at night, so you can't really see it, and... You know, and it kind of hides the CG-ness of it. This, though, like, even when I thought it was a CGI thing, it moved like a guy in a suit. Like, it had, like the ripples and stuff in it. And I was just like, is that a guy in a suit or not? And yeah, it definitely, like, it was enough to where, like, I just didn't care.
Oh yeah, no, like, I've never really cared about bad CG mostly, but fuck, this movie had some bad CG, but sold the shit out of it.
Yes. For me, like, the CGI stuck out was, like, when the Apaches show up and they're, like, firing and stuff. I was just like, because that was, like, a broad daylight scene. I'm just like, oh, you're so CGI. But yeah, just... Goddamn. I feel like there's so much more to talk about with this damn movie.
Well, yeah, because it's like with this movie, it goes scene by scene, and like this is great because this, and this was a great inclusion because this.
Yeah, like every freaking part is like, I can't wait for this to get dubbed because I really just want to be able to just enjoy the cinematography, to enjoy that shot composition, just enjoy Anno's fucking masterwork and just his visuals. Because
casual.
Go eat a dick. Some people can't read like 2 fucking lines of subtitles and look at a fucking image on the screen, you piece of shit.
Some people didn't grow up with Chinese bootleg VHSs at the end of Ava.
Yeah, just, oh my god. So, Yeah, just like I want to be able to just like enjoy the visuals of this because like trying to read the subtitles and then like I'm like, oh my god, that's such a really good shot. I'm trying to like focus on the subtitles and fuck. And of course, like every time a new character shows up, they just have text on the screen, their name and their occupation, like what their what their role is in the Japanese government. That was great. But yeah, like you said, you can just go scene by scene.
Yeah, it's hard to pick things up because the whole movie is amazing.
Yeah. Fucking just the ending. Okay, like you get to the end and they do that fucking thing where they pour this chemical into his mouth to and this is after they had set up multiple fucking traps to like fucking knock Godzilla down, trip him up.
It was so fun to watch the city of Tokyo kick the shit out of Godzilla.
Right?
They just start collapsing buildings on him, just skyscrapers. Payback, motherfucker! Like, spawn the trains, train spam now, and all these fucking, cause Godzilla picks them up like nunchucks, and they just...
Yeah, they all just, like, as soon as he gets to, the tracks, all these trains come in, fucking collide on him as one, and they're all filled with bombs, so they fucking explode on him, and those knock his ass down. And they collapse, they explode more buildings, drop down, and while he's dropped down, they're friggin' spraying chemicals into his mouth. And the chemicals in his mouth that they're spraying is, to friggin' cool down his nuclear reactor shit and basically just freeze him in place. Mm-hmm. And they get him all frozen down, and it's like, alright, we stopped Godzilla for the next few years. We'll try to figure out what the hell to do with him after within this time.
Because the original Godzilla. Mm-hmm. They beat it because some guy invented a horribly destructive bomb.
Yeah.
Because that's what the world was now. Yeah. Whoever had the biggest, most horrible destructive weapon. This Godzilla was more about... Cause, they used the city, they used the trains. The solution to this movie was, we're Japan. If we get our shit together and we all work together, we can beat this.
Yeah.
And it's going to come back, but we're going to be here.
Yeah.
And we're going to find a way to get through this.
Yeah, that was... Oh my god. It just... The last shot of this film is just it pans up to his fucking tail. You see all of... it look like fucking xenomorphs growing out of his tail. It's oh my god, he's spawning more creatures out of himself. Mm-hmm. And we don't even know if some already spawned from him.
Mm-hmm.
So
or
there
if
could
he's
be
the spawner of something, or there's horrible shit going down.
Yeah, so there's so many possibilities for sequels, and I don't know how I feel about that, because I'm I would want Anno back. Mm-hmm. I would want Anno back for a sequel, because when I try to think of directors, I can't.
I know. I think we've had this Godzilla movie. Mm-hmm. Let's just jump right into the really cool dumb Godzilla movies. We're going from Alien to Aliens. It's going to look the same, but it's just going to be bigger, faster, louder, dumber. Let's do the ride.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, we've already set things up. I mean, fucking things are spawning off them.
We're not going to top the first JSDF deployment sequence. We're not. I mean, when it goes tanks, tanks, artillery, helicopters, it's just we're not going to top that sequence.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
Yeah, no. I mean, we're going to have the big dumb monster fight movie. I wouldn't be surprised if just the next movie, we find out, because we see earlier, when Godzilla's sleeping, his tail just kind of splinters off, and then it cuts away. And it never acknowledges that again until the end, when you see all that fucking grotesque shit growing out of his tail, and it's just oh my god, he's spawning more things. And it's just so as far as we know, there's a baby King Ghidorah, and the next movie is going to be, we need to unfreeze Godzilla to fight this fucking thing, because this thing might be worse than Godzilla. And...
Can you imagine how fucking big King Ghidorah would have to be in this universe?
Oh my god. Yeah, because this is the biggest Godzilla. This is canonically the biggest fucking Godzilla I've ever met. Also, this is the first Godzilla we've ever had that is a reboot. That's 100%. From the ground up, because every Japanese Godzilla film we have had has been a sequel to the original. The entire Showa era was one long continuity. We had the Heisei era that was Return of Godzilla was a sequel to Godzilla, and then that was the Heisei era, and it did its thing out the way up to Destroya. And then we had the Millennial Godzillas, which those were all sequels to the original. This is the first time though they don't know what the hell Godzilla is. The fucking Americans actually codename him Godzilla, and they say Godzilla and Gojira.
Yeah, they go through every version of.
Yeah, and they explain the meaning of it and what. Yeah, that was. Oh my god!
Yeah, it was fucking
Yeah, this.
This.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is fucking it. This.
Yeah. It was perfect. That's it. It was perfect. It is, 10 out of 10. If you don't think this movie's perfect, you're fucking wrong. You're wrong, and go enjoy your shitty fucking Legendary Pictures Godzilla vs. King Kong movie, you cocksuckers.